Hello there, Steve here again. I have a bit of a cold, so if I sneeze several times during this video, please excuse me. I'm going to talk about pronunciation and the importance of pronunciation. And I'm going to refer to an article which I saw put out by the physics org or whatever. At any rate, it says, Fluency outweighs pronunciation for understanding non-native English speakers. So a study was done and they found that people who speak English as a second language were more likely to be judged as easy to understand when they spoke with fluency, regardless of the accuracy of their pronunciation. Okay? Now that doesn't just apply to non-native speakers of English. The key in language is communication. So therefore, the key for pronunciation is also communication. Can you be understood? I have experienced many times both the sense of respect for someone who speaks with an accent, even a heavy accent, but who puts words together accurately, correctly, precisely, naturally, uses a wide vocabulary, natural phrasing, but does so with an accent. That person I understand and I have respect for. On the other hand, I have experienced people who have quite good pronunciation, but who use very unnatural phrasing, lots of gonna wanna, trying to be very native-like, but don't make sense. In other words, they don't communicate very well. And while in this particular article they talk about fluency as being more important than pronunciation, in order to be fluent, in order for the words to flow together, they have to be used accurately, the way the native speaker uses those words in combination with other words to express different situations. If the person says, "I am interesting in music," the native speaker is put off, because it's "I'm interested in music." If, as so many people say, "Even it is raining, I won't take an umbrella," people are put off because it's not an accurate use of that expression. It's even if or even though. And so there are many other examples like this, that the correct usage, which translates into fluency. You can't be fluent if you aren't fairly accurate. You don't have to be 100% accurate, but you have to be fairly accurate in your use of the language. Again, in my view, not so much in terms of the odd missing S or the odd missing article in English, which doesn't bother me. I can understand. I have Russian employees, one very capable programmer who communicates very well, communicates his ideas very well, but he's not prone to use the article, because in Russian there are no articles. That doesn't matter. But he uses his words accurately. The key words are used accurately, and he speaks fluently, and he speaks with an accent, and he has no inhibitions, and he's a very effective communicator. So, to summarize, I heartily support the findings of this report. That's very much my experience. To try, of course, as a matter of vanity, we would always like to be able to pronounce as closely as possible to the way a native speaker pronounces. That's our model. And some of us will get closer to that model, and some of us will not get quite as close, and some of us may not get close at all. And as long as you're able to communicate, as long as people understand you, as long as you can achieve a degree of fluency in the language, which requires a fairly large vocabulary, depending on what you're talking about, of course. If you're a mom taking her kid to school and wants to chit-chat with the other moms, you may not need such a large vocabulary. But if you are working and you're socializing with people and a great range of subjects might come up, you also need a large vocabulary. All of those things are more important than trying to imitate native pronunciation. I mean, imitate it, yes, but don't have the expectation that you're going to achieve it. If you, like some people, like Luca, the famous Luca, who is extremely good at imitating native-like pronunciation, if you can do that, good. But if you don't, equally good, in my opinion. So, there you have it, pronunciation versus vocabulary fluency, and so forth. And I will put a link to this article in the description, and I also mention it on my blog. Thanks for listening. Bye for now.